We are here to bring you updates on all things sports in the Acadiana area. Sports has always been important in Acadiana, from the Friday night lights of high school football to the New Orleans Saints. From high school basketball to collegiate athletics covering UL. Here at Acadiana Sports Network, we cover it all. Updates, analysis, and more, Acadiana Sports Network is your destination for sports news. Welcome to Acadiana Sports Network. I'm Stormy Kotzelnick here with Ben Schaefer to cover the fatal incidents that took place at the Travis Scott Astroworld concert. Hundreds were injured and 10 dead as the police chief later announces that the show should have been stopped much sooner. The Travis Scott Astroworld concert is always a huge event. This year, things got very out of control. Leaving 10 people dead, many are looking for somebody to blame. Over 50,000 fans in the crowd in the venue. Fans were seen breaking down fences and dancing on top of ambulance cars. Travis Scott and his company faced several lawsuits for what took place at Astroworld. One woman even mentioned on Twitter, "I barely survived one of the worst concert tragedies in history." Travis later comes out and says he will cover all funeral expenses for all victims who passed away at the festival and be providing mental health and emotional support resources. Now, knowing that 10 people had died, including a 9-year-old boy named Ezra Blount, who was injured and has now been pronounced passed, what do you think that Travis could have done?
I think initially off the gate, Travis should have known that after people have been quarantined for COVID for about a year and a half, there was a lot of built-up anticipation for this concert, which we saw with the massive influx of people. And he should have been prepared to stop the show whenever it became a mass casualty event, which he did not stop the show until 37 minutes after it had been declared so. He was still performing when there were paramedics and carts trying to get in to haul people out of the concert crowd.
And I think that the most important stance that needs to become into place for further concerts, if they do take place, is definitely the ratio between ambulance and people who can help rather to the people who are actually attending the concerts, as there was 50,000 people who had attended this concert, and 3,000 to 5,000 of those people were not even scanned but made their way into the concert. So I feel like that's definitely a good start, but also most importantly an age limit. I feel like normally, as an age limit being 18 plus for a concert, that definitely needs to be put into place for Travis concerts alone, because we all know that he is known for engaging with his crowd and kind of tenses it up a little bit. So if any other changes, what do you think should be made?
Well, absolutely an age limit would help. Also, maybe encouraging parents to not bring a younger child to an event like this, which I would hope would be common sense, but maybe not. But also making sure that we have paramedics on staff that are well trained, which a lot of them were not. Coming up, we'll look into the unfortunate situation involving former Las Vegas Raiders wide receiver Henry Ruggs.
When I first saw Turtle, my heart was full, not anything but lonely.
We had this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with Turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a little bit of a lot of things,
but they're all pure love.
The former Las Vegas wide receiver Henry Ruggs III caused a fatal car accident on November the 2nd in Las Vegas. The fatal crash left 23-year-old Tina Tinter dead. Ruggs was driving 156 miles per hour and was reportedly under the influence of alcohol and other drugs when he crashed. The Las Vegas Metro Police Department arrested Ruggs and charged him with driving under the influence. He faces charges of reckless driving resulting in death and a misdemeanor gun charge. If convicted, Ruggs could face up to 20 years in prison. Now, despite that, on Twitter, people are estimating that even if he serves 10% of his expected sentence, it would definitely be the end of his playing career, at least in the NFL. Also, other people on Twitter posting images of going out to the crime scene the morning after and seeing skid marks on the pavement, also broken glass. It's a tragic reminder of what happened there on November 2nd. Now, Stormy, as we were talking about before the show, this isn't an isolated incident really for the Raiders. They've had players in the past like Ishmael Zamora, who was suspended in college for beating dogs. They had Pharaoh Brown, who was accused of physical altercations, also domestic violence suits. Not to diminish what happened with Ruggs, but do you think this is more of a problem with the Raiders organization not cultivating a healthy locker room that would encourage better behavior off the field, or do you think this is more of a player issue at its core?
Obviously, from a biased opinion, I think that a lot of changes do need to be made, whether that is for the organization or for him personally. But regardless, I think that he needs to step up, and if he's ever given another opportunity, change needs to happen either personally or with the Raiders. Now, where that decision comes in, I don't know. I can't say, but I mean, the Raiders had already released Ruggs on November 2nd, let alone. So if he even is given another opportunity, I don't know if it's going to be with the Raiders, but where do you think that he's going to go further from here?
If he does have another opportunity, I don't see it being in the near future, definitely be years down the road, and I don't see it being inside the NFL. I think a lot of teams want to avoid that public image and kind of that PR nightmare, but he may have an opportunity playing in leagues in Canada, looking for former NFL talent, or maybe in Europe, or maybe if we see a resurgence in leagues like the XFL, perhaps we'll see him there. But it's also a sad case of this young man who is being paid $16 million over 4 years with a $4 million signing contract, to see that all go out the window in just one night.
Yeah, and it is obviously such a fatal incident. I mean, prayers go out definitely to the woman who was involved in the accident, but 20 years in prison. 20 years, that's a lot, especially for an athlete like himself in the NFL. If he is given another opportunity, where do you think that he's going to land, regardless of what other organizations there are? Do you think that he's going to be responsible or not? But next, we'll discuss the growing concerns about New Orleans Pelicans player Zion Williamson.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Starting off 1-9, it seems the weight of this season is too much for the New Orleans Pelicans basketball team. For one Pelicans player, weight has become a concern for everyone. Zion Williamson debuted his career weighing a hefty 286 pounds. After being benched to recover from foot surgery and missing the first 10 games of the season, he now is 300 plus pounds. This news raises the question we all think. Will he be able to perform at the same level? What will the Pelicans do moving forward with him? Does he even care? And here's what some fans have to say.
I wasn't surprised. I saw him in warm-ups or doing a little workout, and it was obvious he's way overweight. But the other day I was looking at Twitter, and I saw something that said all the Saints O-linemen are like 305. Seriously, the heaviest one I think was 315. And so when you think about it like that, I mean, it's mind-blowing. And I mean, he's got to get healthy because we need him.
He's a big guy. So, I mean, most big guys, and they jumping, and he's already been hurt, seems like every year. So, I mean, if he don't want to do better, I mean, I guess what can we do for him?
I'm a bit worried about his knees. I think he'd be a great New Orleans Saint at this point. I think New Orleans is a tough place if you got a big appetite to stay underweight. Yeah. And I'm a bit worried about him. I love the guy, though. I think he's a great guy. I think he's great for New Orleans, but maybe New Orleans isn't so great for him.
We got to turn something around with BI out and everything. I mean, we're going to need him back, hopefully before Christmas, because, I mean, if he don't come back till after Christmas, I think he'll put on another 20 pounds. That's Thanksgiving and Christmas. So, I mean, come on, Zion.
So Zion Williamson, being the overall #1 pick in the 2019 NBA draft, he's heading into his third season at 300 pounds. Now, first of all, this is not football. This is basketball. So regardless of your size, if you are in sports, you need to be in good physical shape to maintain success throughout your career. Whether you carry the weight properly or not, I mean, there's plenty of injuries that come from being overweight. And with the weight resurfacing, how is he going to bounce back from this?
Honestly, I think it just comes down to getting his off-court habits under control. And I know that body shaming is a very sensitive issue with a lot of people that struggle with that. So we're not trying to downplay that at all. But at the same time, when it begins to affect your on-court performance, and also your team is sitting at a 2-12 record at number 4 in the standings, that blame is going to be put somewhere, whether you like it or not. And again, he's very young, 21 years old. So I know this is a lot to take on. So maybe instead of coming down on him so hard, fans should try to be more encouraging. That might be a more fruitful course of action, but that could just be me.
Yeah, 100%. And there was definitely talk about him trying to take on all this weight, being such a high number 1 prospect actually in high school, and now kind of being a little bit questionable as a player. But being overweight, like I said, can lead to injuries, and due to the concern of durability, he has missed already 79 games due to the injury in his first 2 seasons. Now, given that he's only had 3 seasons total, the first 2 is definitely an issue, so there needs to be change.
Absolutely. And overall, despite this distraction, the Pelicans faithful hopes for a quick turnaround this season. The Pelicans take on the Miami Heat Wednesday, November 17th. Join us next time for more Pelicans coverage as well as other hot topic issues. Remember to like us on Facebook at UL Broadcasting, and have a good night.